All right. Well, in the last video, I mentioned meeting up with a lot of other Go content creators who I'm friends with, and I totally forgot to mention a whole bunch of them. I did mention people like Andrew Jackson and Lee Hajin, Brady Daniels, Jonathan Hopp. Totally forgot to also mention that, totally hung out with Kevin Huang of Go Talks and Peter Nelson. And, oh man, I just thought of a third one. The problem is there's too many. Who was the third one? Oh, damn it. I just wasn't Sean Ray, although we did hang out with him too. Oh man, right here. Justin Tang, Light Volty, who I know he makes content sporadically, but when he does make it, it's quite good. So you should check him out if you haven't already. Anyway, this is day two, or not this. Yeah, actually, literally, this is my second video of the US Go Congress, but it's also my day 2 US Open game at the US Go Congress. I mentioned in the previous video I'd lost the first game SGF file from self-inflicted circumstances. But this game, I was playing against Keith Arnold. And Keith Arnold, if you were a longtime Go player and longtime Go Congress attendee, you probably know Keith Arnold. Keith is a pretty huge force in the Go community as far as organizing tournaments. And, he's kind of a bulldog of a guy. I think his day job is a lawyer. He's been around for a while. I don't know how many Go Congresses he's been to, but it's a lot. And he also has a pretty unique style when it comes to Go that he's kind of settled into. And you either can beat his style or you can't. Basically, it's a question of, do you know how to play against him? And him and I, we've played, he was 5-dan for a few years, but he sort of slid back into the 4-dan category a few years ago. And so him and I, we've played in tournaments a number of times. Where is he? I think he's in Maryland, New Jersey. I don't know. Somewhere on the East Coast is where he normally lives. But he goes to every US Go Congress. And his style, I've always been able to beat in it. Like he's never won a game, right? And he brought this up before this game. He's like, I've never beaten you. And I say, well, thank you. And he just sort of looked at me and he goes, well, this time I'm on a quest to beat all of the Go content creators. And I think, I think he beat Kevin at this point. Maybe he'd beaten like 2 other, YouTube Go player type people. And so I think I was already his 3rd one on day 3. He then went on to play Andrew Jackson and Brady Daniels. And he never made it to Hajin, but that was his goal. Anyway, I think you're going to see his style right away. Because it's something. And it's a style I actually like playing against. Like I feel very comfortable when I play against Keith. And maybe that's why I've just never lost, because this is his opening. He's dual Sansan. Keith likes to just, make some really solid territory and then spend the rest of the game just invading and running around. And that's and occasionally counterattacking. And that's like what he does. And so that's kind of what we did, because I probably favor influence a little bit too much. I don't trust my own invasion skills, and I like to build frameworks and boxes and big things. So I play High Chinese here, and he plays this move, which again is very it's so awkward. Where's my old tool? Where's my tooltip on that screen? Oh, computer's starting to freak out. That's weird. I have 2 displays here, and it opened up that menu on the other window and was very freaky. Anyway, this is like a really sad opening, right? In terms of like building anything big. This is just like a groveling kind of opening. Look at the spacing here. Is this 7 spaces? 7 spaces, right? That's a weird number of spaces. The white player has no intention of building anything. We're just trying to destroy and take very few territory, right? And I like playing games where, oh man, I should just there are actually F keys, huh? There are F keys. Wait, I don't know what they all do. F4, F5. That makes squares. F5 is squares. All right, I can live with squares. Sorry, exploring features of the CGoBond app that never knew before. Anyway, we're just both happy playing our own games in this type of game. So it's always a really fun game for both of us because it's not suffering as much as it is just we're both getting what we want and both thinking we're winning until usually I win. So I go right in, and this is again very common Joseki, and we actually play a very normal Joseki. And he completes it here, and I mean, it's territory. He has points, but man, it's such like a pessimistic style of play, where you're like saying, I'm just going to take my points, and I'm just going to destroy, destroy, destroy. All right, but here I think I'm going to make a mistake, because I actually complete the Joseki, right? There is actually one more move in this Joseki, and this is the part where I need to Tanuki, and I don't, and I play here. And I don't think this is a bad move. Like, I think this is playable, but I think Tanuki is more appropriate, where I should just actually work more on my own framework. Just keep building, building, building. Let him take his, 10 points on each. I guess it's more like close to 20 points if he links this all up. Let him take his 40 points total and just build something bigger than 40 points. I think that's what I should do. When I turn here, it's Joseki. It helps really solidify this group, right? There's no real cut here, right? This is just crash and burn. So, I mean, locally, this is a really big move, but globally, I don't know. Just didn't Tanuki. This is one of those things you do automatically. You finish the Joseki. But he does take this move. This spacing's a little bit better for him. Oh, why is my phone ringing? Louisiana. I don't want to talk to Louisiana. And he plays this. And this is totally fine. I can actually just go back to here and just continue on as if nothing happened. But I don't. And I go for this corner. And I don't think this is the worst move in the world to reduce this immediately. But yeah, I just need to focus more on building and less on reducing him. It's not like he can build anything particularly large out of all these third line stones. Every stone he's played has been on the third line, right? This is so pessimistic. All right, so anyway, I continue to reduce and just keep him on the third line. We play the same damn Joseki again. And again, this is sort of the type of player that Keith is. Here, I could theoretically deviate. I think this might be slightly better in retrospect. This is also a Joseki variation. But again, he just, I don't know, I guess they got lulled into a thing thinking, well, he shouldn't play symmetrical. Like, playing symmetrical Josekis is dumb, right? So I'm going to let him do it. I don't know. But I should probably be the one to vary it a little bit to make use of these stones, or emphasize my stones a little bit more. And he finishes it. Then, instead of finishing this Joseki, it would just prompt him to live here. And I think White would actually be quite comfortable here. Because any pressure I put on, White can just sort of immediately play that and be like, okay, I'm alive, you have nothing over here. And White has territory, territory, and territory, and Black has 5 points here. Right, and that's sort of what I think Keith was expecting. But I decided that was too comfortable for him, so I tried to take some of my own points while forcing him to be low and connected, which he does. Yeah, I made a note to myself, I need to Tanuki here again. Like all these places, I just need to Tanuki and just build my own thing. And I kind of thought that's what I was doing here. But it turns out my reading was really bad. I thought, well, again, if he's played so submissive so far, right? Like, the most optimistic thing, this is the game, right? For him to continue is be like to connect here, and then for me to even cover here. Possibly play this move, but that leaves a different cut. And like I thought this was okay. Even if White just takes all this, I thought this is okay. It turns out it's not. I think I showed this game to Lee Ha-jin, or Haley, and she thought this was terrible. And I kind of agree. Like, even though, Black is safe and has all these central influence that's sort of theoretically working with this over here. Again, this is actually a lot of territory at this point, even though it's only third line. So I shouldn't be happy with this. I should just be willing to say, you know what, there's not anything here. There's no reason to continue. Just go build. But we played out anyway. But he does not connect. He leaves this defect. And this is sort of the story of the game, right? This point, because we both are pretty pig-headed, it turns out, from the sequence. I cut in this way, and he takes this Atari, and I need to play this and just exchange right now. Like, I think this is actually quite playable for Black. White doesn't have 2 eyes yet. White doesn't even have a guaranteed 1 eye yet. and let some sort of exchange like this happen. Of course, if white connects, I'm also happy. Maybe I push here once and then just come on top, just cover. Black still owes me a move at some point in here, and then I can just go back to building something. And right now, black, you can't really kill this white group, but there are moves against it later. In the game, yeah, here, I actually don't need this move. Actually, yes, that's a bad move. I should just take this Atari. It's a bad exchange. And then, yeah, again, it all goes back to this group. All right, I have F5 keys. F5, I can use the square tool. I decided to run this stone out, which everyone thought, who I showed this game to, was a terrible idea. And the main reason is because I thought that I basically had white disconnected. And it turns out I really don't. Because, and you'll see, I'll go forward a few moves, but actually, when white does play this move, this group actually has a shortage of liberty problem after I run this stone out. You'll see it happening. Because white, of course, pushes up this way, and I insist on saving that stone. White cuts, and now, after white plays here, white's all linked up. All right, go back to move tool. All right, because if now we take this Atari, I forgot the order here. I read this out all in game, of course, but yep, now white pushes here. And if black tries to cut, actually white can even descend first. That's probably better. There we go. Throw in, Atari. And now black has this gigantic tombstone of a group with 4 liberties. This white group, as of right now, has 7 liberties. I count that right? 5, 6, 7. Plus a damaging cut that black needs to take care of right away. Plus a little bit of Aji over here with this stone. I mean, black just can't do anything here. This is just disaster. So after 42, I sort of regretted running the stone out. Because I mean, all I wanted was to get an attack on this group. Right, going back to what I was thinking, which I don't think I actually said what I was thinking when I ran the stone out. I've got a base over here. I've got some thickness over here. I've got a group that can run out. I've got stones on the 4th line that I can always run to, or use as ladder breakers and those sorts of things. Like, I want to fight here. I want to attack something in the middle of all this. And so I try really hard and fail really hard. Yeah, bad idea for black. Yes. All right. I'll go back to using arrow keys. Wait, this is not the game. Okay, good. Black takes this Atari and then connects there. That's me, I guess. That's what I do, just to make shape. And again, white, is Keith Arnold, and his style of play is, okay, take your territory and then just make a mess everywhere. And so I kind of think this is a bad idea, trying to save these 3 stones right now. I can always give up these 4 if I need to. And I'm not sure what these 3 stones are going to do. So white's going to help me out, make me much stronger. At this point, I do kind of really wish I didn't make this D7 exchange. Really nice not to have a white stone there right now. And white tries to make shape. And is this squirming now? White is just sort of squirming around trying to make shape and get out. This move actually leaves a pretty big defect at this point. So I'm not sure that was the correct shape move for him. I do take 1 forcing move, and then I come back. No, I don't come back. I play 1 more move here just to help deal with this stone, and then I come back and play this move. And I'm still sort of attacking this little squirming group here. And the hope, right, the dream is that black, even though, black didn't get an attack on this group, white didn't get that many points. Black actually profited here, even though there's some defects. It's still, there's going to be points here for black at some point. And if black can attack this while building a wall here, this top area is going to become huge. So we keep up the pressure, and we play this sort of violent-looking move. And I think this move is actually quite nice, even though I don't follow it. I get kind of greedy at the end and lose my correct direction of play. I give Keith a chance here. Actually, I give maybe Keith more than a chance after the sequence, because after this, white has a really big problem. If white pushes up here, black can actually dodge away here, and now all of a sudden this white group is surrounded again. If white does, if white connects here, again, same kind of thing, black can dodge to here and attack white all over again. So in game, white plays here. And at this point, I peep, which is this is good. And I cut this stone off, and this is very greedy. I need to stay focused on my original intent, which is here. There might be, yeah, I mean, this is, even if white does this, and I don't get this exchange first, I still think this is just more than great for black, because now look at this top corner. And I kind of think it's, you know, maybe, at least in retrospect, is like one of those really psychological things where, you know, a player values the territory on their side of the board more than their opponent's side, right? And in this game, I'm sitting here. And so, I don't know, I just devalued this for some reason, like psychologically, or wasn't as optimistic. I had a feeling of pessimism about trying to make something this large. And so instead was just like, you know what, I'm just going to take the sure profit here and just cut this stone off and take this side. So that's why I say it's kind of greedy and not really in the spirit of what needs to happen in the rest of the game. Because the other thing that this thing does, if I get this huge wall here, this stone, whoops, right, goddamn tool, it's appearing on the wrong screen for some reason. This stone has a much more difficult time being useful for white. Because if white takes this cut here, it's not like these cutting stones have anywhere to go on this side, right? This is just all black. So if I do that, despite my disaster of a attempted fight down here, I feel like black is in a really good position. Like, how does white deal with this? I mean, obviously white can't let this whole quadrant of the board become black, because if he does, that's 80 points. And, you know, white has a pretty solid 20 here, another 15 here for 35, another 20 here for another 55, and that is it. Well, plus Comey. So 62.5 points. And actually, Comey's probably going to be covered by this area down here. So this would be more than sufficient. So white pushes up here, and this is actually a really big deal. Because even though, and actually the reason why I also descended, at least in the game, that made it look even more attractive, because again, you guys are probably all watching this game and going, of course you should have just played there, it's so obvious to us, we're so much smarter than you. Sure, you are, but there's still a cut here after black descends, right? Like, there's still this here. So descending seems so natural. It's so good. It's really counterintuitive not to follow it up that way. But we give white a chance. I do play this move, and this is, I think this is pretty necessary. Hodgin thought this was pretty necessary as well if I wanted to take this actually as territory. Because otherwise there's things white can do here and counterattack and all sorts of stuff. So playing this move or a move like it, I could have played this one perhaps. Just depends what kind of AG you want. Again, I was still focused on preserving this cut as strong as possible, so I thought this would be the best one to do that, but maybe not. But now, Keith style, here we go. Keith has territory, now let's make a mess. So, takes this Atari up and keeps pushing. Pig-headed Keith style, here we go. And jumps out. I get to lean on this, but he plays this move first, which is good. It's more important right now, and he plays this extension. Now this is normally a terrible shape, and you should never do this. Like this is just a, you know, bullshit kind of move that should never be good, because you know, what happens to white in this type of scenario, right? Like, how does white can deal with this, right? This stone just prevents white from doing anything. So I know this, and he actually doesn't. After the game, he confessed he didn't realize that there's this huge defect here. But I think Keith is being really, really smart and saying, you know, if I do this, right, if I try to cut here, he's going to go this way, right? I don't have, you know, I don't really have eye space. I don't really have liberties. I guess I have some liberties, but I don't have eye space, that's for sure. I don't have friends to run to. Like, I have to attack this part. And so after the game, you know, he said, well, maybe I would have figured out that I can just do this and there's no cut here. But it would have taken him a while. He said he'd have to have spent some time on the move. So I can't really play that right now, right? Because I can't get covered. So I have to play in this direction. So this part's good. But then he pushes again, and I play here. And I think this move is a pretty huge mistake, because after I play, I don't see it right away, but after I play it, I immediately recognize it, because it still looks... whose turn? Let's say white goes here. It still looks like I can do this, right? But I'm not convinced. After I play, I see this move for white. And this sort of throws the whole scenario into chaos. And furthermore, white has this move, which is also equally annoying, right? It threatens to cut this way and this way. And black doesn't have a particularly good way to fix, at least I think actually Hajin shows me a way I can fix both of these cuts in the game. It looks like this fixes both cuts, right? But again, that's where this move comes in. Hajin, you know, the 3-down professional, Haley, finds a way to fix both of these cuts after a move like this. And I'll show you a little bit further. But again, black, I don't think white's going to respond like this to these moves. Right? At least I don't think so. So, you know, I think I'm getting outplayed here, when in fact, Keith hasn't thought about any of this. And he completely in full disclosure and discloses to me after the game. He's actually really excited after the game. He's like, you could have done so, you know, because he's like, you could have messed me up so hard here. And I was like, no, none of this works. You just let me cut through and I die. And anyway, we had a fun laugh about it. So, if we go back, I think this move would have been better here. Even though this looks like it's weirder shape, when white plays this move, now this move just works. And I don't have to think about it. But actually, I guess no. I guess even though I kicked myself for not playing this one. Here, we'll play this one. White extends. I make shape here. I'm gonna have to keep this group strong. White plays this move. And wedge above 88 is magic. Yes, this is the move that Hajin finds. I start to do this sort of thing and play for some sort of exchange, but Keith's kind of figured out what's up. So the move that I think the only move that really works is this one. And again, the pro player found this one to make it all better. But first, again, we'll just show you what happens if we play here. White can play this. And if you just pull back, of course, there's this cut, and now we're cut off from everything. There's still danger over here, but all white has to do is not die. Even if black splits, there's nothing here. So, okay. Another variation, let's say, of course, if black fixes this way, white just cuts across, and again, black, same kind of thing. So again, I'm kicking myself after the game because Keith never found this move, or at least he didn't see it in his reading. Which, yeah, he thought this just worked for black. Like, he just thought this solved all my problems, and there's no issue here. So he was very surprised in game when I played here. But go back to the wedge. All right, let's try some things now for white. So if white takes this cut, we play here. Does this work? Can I do this? I just trusted Hajin that this works. Yes, here we go. So we play here now. And so if white takes this Atari, there's an Atari there and there's an Atari there. So white has to connect here, and then we're out. White has to come back and play there, and then we can cut. So that's kind of magic. If white does this, we can play here now. And now this cut doesn't work at all. And this wedge isn't a problem because black just connects. And when white takes this Atari, black can actually play here. And it looks like it's all sunshine and rainbows for white. I mean, initially, because it looks like we can cut this off again. But now white needs to move here. And black can just ladder this thing into oblivion. And if white goes this way, well, now all of a sudden there's this code that appears for everything. Plus, white has to fix and still needs to fight. And black always has this code in the back pocket and the ability to does this make 2 eyes? I should actually read this out. Let's see. If black just plays here and takes the Atari, oh, of course it makes 2 eyes of the Atari, but this move here is Tanuki. If we play here, yep, that doesn't work. You need to throw in there directly, but that doesn't quite work either. So yeah, black can just make 2 eyes or continue to swallow this white stick. So yeah, I just freaked myself out here after white played here because I was just on tilt from not seeing this wedge right here. And so my next 5 moves are terrible. Just because I go, oh my god, I didn't see this before I played the move. I didn't see this, I didn't see this, I didn't see this. And so that's what happens sometimes, you know, Go is very psychological. And you play a move, then technically, again, this move works fine because of this move. But I can't find this move because I think I screwed up back here. And so I have this sort of reading blindness instead of, you know, taking a deep breath or even getting up from the board and just, you know, calming myself a bit to try to find something that does work. I just sort of forge ahead with plan B, which is basically offer and exchange. And this is a great exchange for white. Like, even though it looks like black gets a lot over here, there's still this Aji that's pretty horrifying that black has to deal with. Furthermore, if this white group is alive, it's now much more difficult to build anything at the top for black, even though that's black's plan. Black's plan the whole game is, right, just build something big to compete with white's little bitty territories. I guess they're not little, I mean, they're like 20 points, but still. And then white did get this move in, so it's still hard to build something really big. I mean, yeah, there's territory over here, but again, white already has a lot of territory. I need something big. These are all Sente moves because of this Aji. So we play there, and white invades the corner. And again, this is nice. Again, this move here will be very large, just in terms of points. I would actually make 4th line territory here if white didn't have a stone here, right? And that'd be like 30 points. So I could actually make back immediately white's biggest territory. Again, that's how little white territory has. But we have to block this way. And we play this one to try to build something on both sides. This is Joseki, though it leaves a lot of defects. But if you want to build something on both sides, this is probably the best way to do it. And again, we're just building, and white doesn't need to play this. This is a bad move, bad exchange. Because now it gives me a chance to actually build something big again. So white dives in, have to defend the corner, and here it's actually really difficult for me to kill anything directly. Between, you know, there is this Aji over here, there is a friend over here, and again, Keith excels at these little squirming group things. This is his game. This is a nice push. Oh, is that the end of the game record? Oh, I think that's the end of the game record, as much as I put in. Because in the end, even though I'd actually build this to be quite sizable, there's this, and actually I end up capturing this stone and all this turns, this whole top turns into black territory. White does get some endgame in here, but he actually misplays in here pretty badly. I think he played, was it this? Something like this he played. I don't remember what he did, but he made some sort of misplay in here, so I got points. So in the end, it was actually a pretty surprisingly close game, considering how big of a loss letting this white group off the hook is, you know, exchanging all this. So I made it close, but yeah, losing all these stones, this is a huge number of points. These little tiny you know, 20 point, 25 point territories turned into, you know, a 40 point territory with the loss of this. So this was my first loss to Keith Arnold ever, and I was pretty sad about it, actually. Yeah, just, you know, the thing that I really learned from this game, you know, I know there's some things in the opening with having these two symmetrical Joseki that just want to make me, you know, punch myself in the face. But again, the whole tilt situation of playing a move like this and then freaking out because in your next immediate read, you know, and I played this move way too quickly. Like I took maybe only 20 seconds to play this connecting move without really thinking of all the variations. I found a possible counter for white and couldn't figure out how to counter it, and just assumed that it worked and that I was in big trouble. And so kind of freaked out and lost my cool and lost the game. So congratulations to Keith Arnold, man. Again, Keith's mission was to go and beat all of the YouTube and Twitch content Go creators. And so after this, I think he did beat Brady Daniels in a game. And then I think he lost to Andrew Jackson. I think that sort of put an end. I think he beat he beat like 3 or 4 people though. Maybe it was like Jonathan Hopp and Kevin and me before he finally lost a game. So Keith had a fun little Go Congress. So anyway, again, this was the second video in the in my little US Go Congress review series. I hope that you enjoyed it. Stay tuned to Game 3. It'll be up relatively soon, I think, after this video gets posted. We'll see. So anyway, thanks for watching.